As a practitioner,
yes,
I always want to give the benefit of the doubt to anyone who's accused, even of corruption, whether the person is a fellow lawyer, is a client, or even is a judge or judicial officer. And that is arising from the presumption of innocence. That doesn't mean being naive. It means you give people an opportunity to prove their innocence. I mean, for the accuser to prove their guilt, on the other hand. That is the way presumption of innocence works. But I do know that it would be naive to say that there is no corruption in the judiciary. My biggest concern is these processes, these mechanisms and these institutions that are meant to process the evidence. They don't seem to be working.
You see, corruption, you are looking at corruption, you are looking at a robbery with violence. And then you are saying, where is the tool? Where is the evidence? Where was the victim? Corruption.
So what's the threshold?
Corruption in the judiciary, is found in the judgment. That is the best source of corruption. And I will give you an example. I think there was some time back a judge I think it was in Meru. Someone filed a suit, and the judge gave an order removing the deputy chief justice from office, stopping her from acting as, I think, DCJ, all this. And the judge gave an order. That for me, you don't need any other evidence. There's no benefit of doubt you give such a person, because that judge knows how to remove a judge. He knows how chief justices are removed. But by giving an order, stopping her from doing all her functions, must be part of a strategy hatched somewhere, implemented in court. That for me is enough. But that matter went to the JC. What happened? Nothing. So what does that tell judges? It sends a signal that nothing can happen to you, because if that judge in Meru is kept and nothing happened to him when he removed the deputy chief justice from office,
the challenge, James, is that we have been very strong as legal practitioners in campaigning for judicial independence. And we recognize that the first threat to judicial independence is the executive, especially in Africa and in third world countries. They interfere with judicial independence. Another threat to judicial independence, of course, is financial influence or corruption. There is also the decisional independence of the judge. So to ensure that the judge has decisional independence, there have been several decisions by the courts all the way to the Supreme Court that when a judge makes a decision, you cannot use that decision as the principal or sole or primary basis for holding that the judge has committed a misconduct. That if you are dissatisfied with a judgment, your remedy is to seek review or appeal. So this is the jurisprudence that we as practitioners have supported. And I agree with Ahmed to a certain extent, to a certain extent, that it has provided cover to those judicial officers who are interested in being
because we are not going to look at the decisions.
Because we are all going to look at the decision. And I've also engaged the JSC myself. I was the chair of the Nairobi branch of LSK for 4 years. And I was engaging the Judicial Service Commission. And I told the commissioners, in my view, the judgment should be part of the substance that can be used in a complaint of misconduct against a judge. But unfortunately, because of the process of decision making that has come up, you can't just rely on a judgment. You need to have additional evidence, and that additional evidence is what has been lacking.